They say some places die slowly, others, they never die at all. Deep in the heart of Pennsylvania, there's a town that looks ordinary from a distance, but it holds a secret. It's a place that burns endlessly. Right beneath your feet, this is Centralia, a ghost town swallowed by an eternal fire. Forgotten by the world and haunted by the silence that came after. Back in 1962, Centralia was a peaceful mining town. A tight-knit community of just over 1,000 people. Families lived simple lives, kids played on the streets, and miners descended into the earth every day, into the vast tunnels of coal that stretched for miles beneath the town. Life was predictable, safe. But one small mistake, one seemingly harmless decision, was about to change everything forever. That summer, right before the annual town parade, a small fire was started in the landfill to get rid of some trash. It was supposed to be a routine cleanup, but nobody saw the danger lurking just below. The flames crept down into an open, exposed seam of coal. This wasn't just any coal seam, it was a direct gateway to the abandoned mine tunnel snaking under the entire town. The fire went deep, finding oxygen and feasting on layers of anthracite coal that hadn't seen the light of day for decades. And just like that, Centralia began to burn from the inside out. At first, nobody thought it was a big deal. The ground started to feel a little warm in spots. Steam would rise from cracks in the sidewalks after it rained. People started complaining about strange smells, sulfur, smoke, and a weird metallic scent that clung to the air. Officials tried to calm everyone down, saying it was just temporary, that it would burn itself out. But months turned into a year, and the fire didn't die. It grew. Sidewalks started to crack and buckle. The air tasted like ash. Fear began to creep into the community. The fire was spreading much faster than anyone had realized. They tried everything to stop it. They dug massive trenches and poured concrete barriers into the ground, hoping to cut it off. But every time they thought they had it contained, the fire would just shift direction. It moved underground like something alive, adapting, outsmarting them and creeping ever forward. By the early 1970s, things got really strange. People started reporting low rumbles coming from beneath their houses, like a distant engine, or whispers echoing through the soil itself. Car tires would literally melt on newly formed sinkholes that appeared overnight. Then, the moment everyone feared finally happened. A young boy was playing in his backyard when the ground just collapsed beneath him. He fell into a burning pit, a plume of hot steam and toxic gas erupting from the earth. He was only saved because his cousin reacted instantly and pulled him out. That was the turning point. The government finally stepped in, realizing the town was no longer safe. They began evacuating families, one by one. But some refused to leave. This was their home, filled with their memories. How could they just walk away? But as the years went on, their mailboxes stood empty. The windows of abandoned houses shattered from the intense underground heat, roads twisted and buckled into unrecognizable shapes. Centralia was officially becoming a ghost town, and yet not everything left. Visitors who are brave enough to walk through Centralia today say they can still feel it breathing. The air is thick and unnaturally warm. Even on a cold day, mist rises from hidden cracks in the ground, twisting around your legs like ghostly fingers. The old highway that once led into town. Route 61 is now a fractured, graffiti-covered scar on the landscape. It's known as the Graffiti Highway, covered in messages from countless travelers who can't quite explain why they came, or why they felt like they were being watched the entire time they were there. Some of these visitors claim to see figures moving in the fog, shadowy silhouettes that vanish the moment you try to get a closer look. Others swear they hear faint voices, muffled, as if coming from deep under the earth. One man even swore he heard a church bell ringing from beneath the ground, long after the last church in Centralia had burned down. Now, scientists have a perfectly logical explanation for all of this. The fire is still burning in a massive coal deposit that is estimated to last for another 200 years. The strange noises, the constant warmth, the smoke, it's all just the natural consequence of this underground inferno. There's no mystery, they say. But the few locals who stayed behind, and the families who were forced to leave, they tell a different story. They say the fire wasn't just an accident. They believe it woke something that was buried in those mines long before the town was even built. Some of the old-timers even whisper that the land itself was cursed, that the miners dug too deep and unearthed something ancient and vengeful, and the fire was its way of taking the land back. Whatever you choose to believe, Centralia stands as a chilling monument frozen in time. It's a stark reminder of human error, the incredible power of nature, and the mysteries that we still can't explain. In 1992, the US government officially condemned the town. The remaining houses were demolished. The streets were literally erased from the maps, and yet, a handful of residents refused to abandon their home. They continued to live there, among the smoke and the silence, as if they were keeping watch over something the rest of us were never meant to see. Even now, if you go there at night, the fog that hangs over the empty fields glows with a faint, pulsing red like the slow, steady heartbeat of something that simply refuses to die. So, if you ever find yourself driving through the quiet, deep forests of Pennsylvania and you see a road that seems to lead nowhere, with road signs half buried in ash and the air tasting faintly of sulfur, maybe don't stop, because in Centralia, the fire still burns, and some say, so do the souls that once called it home. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into the world's most mysterious places. See you next time.